Welcome to Fewer Things Better. This is the place for all of us who are big on goals and short on time. Together, we'll explore smart, simple ideas on how to retrain your brain and unlock your life. I'm your host, Kristin Graham. Let's get started. For this episode, I'm going to start with the bottom line on top, which is this. The path to our desired destination is often filled with detours. And it's the detours that make the destination possible. Just yesterday, the many detours I encountered reminded me of this as I came upon a milestone in my own journey. So here's the story. I woke up in a sunny San Francisco hotel room. I'd had a wonderful trip there, presenting at a group offsite to a great client. And I was planning on a leisurely morning before taking a midday flight to go back home. I was just about to head out to find a breakfast spot when I decided to check the map just to see how long traffic was to the airport so I could time out how long I had to wander around. Detour number 1. Apparently, there had been an accident on the major highway with a jackknife big rig and a fuel spill. At that point, traffic was on a 2-hour delay. And I'll pause here for a quick geography note that San Francisco is a peninsula, meaning it sits between two bodies of water, the Pacific Ocean on one side and the San Francisco Bay. So navigating around a highway is tricky. Okay, so time to be creative quickly. I packed up and checked out of the room. I skipped breakfast. And I decided to check out the public transit system called the BART. There was a station less than 10 minutes away by car. So I took a ride share to the entrance, carried all my stuff down the stairs, and wandered into the wide terminals. I went to the information counter to make sure I knew which line to take and which platform to get on. They gave me the information, but tickets were only sold through a kiosk. Okay, fine. It was a little convoluted of a system, and then there was an extra fee to get a physical card. As mine was printing out, I saw a woman near me, and she came and asked for help because she couldn't figure out how to get her card either. She was trying to do it with cash, but she didn't have enough cash for the extra fee. So I bought it for her and wished her well, and then headed on down to the platform. Detour number 2. I thought I knew which train to get on, but 2 different lines said they would go to the airport. Okay, great. So I got in the first one that came along because it was 10 minutes earlier than the other. The ride itself was fine and interesting people watching, but it made a good amount of stops. At times we were underground and other times we followed the highway, and I got to watch the slow crawl of cars. When we got toward the airport stop, I noticed there was other passengers with suitcase. Okay, great. That means they're going where I'm going. The train rolled into the station and a little bit past it. It said it was the last stop. So as we were getting off the train, some people were walking confidently in a direction, and a couple of us with suitcase were looking around with confusion. Finally, I went up and asked somebody where we are, and it turns out we were in the airport parking garage area. Simple enough, we just needed to take a different train to get to the terminals. Okay, detour number 3. After finding that different train, I was waiting when all of a sudden the signs switched and said it was just no longer in service. Now, there were no other trains, no other platforms. There was only this one that would take you to the terminals. Now, I was already over the fun of this journey and time was tight. My flight was getting ready to board in about 30 minutes. My brain had been in solution mode all morning. So I was sitting there trying to come up with ideas on how to now get myself to the airport entrance when all of a sudden the train just started working again without any message as to why it was shut down. But whatever, I was just happy to get on a train. The detours continued from there, such as being randomly selected for an extra check at security, to my gate being all the way at the end of a terminal. All in a day's hopscotch as a traveler. And I was able to get in the plane. I got home. It's fine. And there are times, of course, when everything is on time and everything goes as planned. And life can be like that too. Some days are smooth. We wander through almost on autopilot. And have you noticed though, even when things going as expected, we can usually find irritants a lot more easily than we can find gratitude. The reason I shared this story, and thanks for sticking with me through it, is that all of this happened just a couple days before the 4-year mark of me becoming an entrepreneur. That's when I left my corporate job and wandered away without much of a map into this new professional world. At that time, the world itself was barely a year into COVID, and I was barely into being a single mother with 2 teenage boys. I relied on that steady paycheck and health insurance. You see, that was the highway, the known path forward. But that's the funny thing about passion. It never really goes silent. I had long wanted to go do my own thing, and I felt confident that I could, but it was all those life responsibilities that made me pause. For the right reasons, I thought, but you can never really water it down. Or if you do try to water down your desires with logic, or you convince yourself why this other road is better, those bubbles in the brain, they always find a way to return. So if you're currently diluting your dreams because you've convinced yourself, or other people have had a vote in it as well, that the road you're on is the only one that will get you there, then my wish for you is some detours. That doesn't sound very nice now, does it? Okay, forget my wish. Life's going to give you plenty of detours anyway. Here's what you can discover when you take other routes. Number 1, you're more resourceful than you think. You'll figure out a way. And if you get stuck, there are info booths in different places. Asking for help is the best way to find your way. If not all the way, then at least to the next stop. Number 2, it costs more than you think it will. Not just in money, like on subway kiosks, but time and energy. And sometimes relationships will cost more. You changing challenges other people, but that's never a price you need to pay. On that same topic, number 3 is you are an investment worth making. When I was preparing to leave my job, I spoke to several entrepreneurs, and one of them said something great to me. Bet on yourself and go all in. It was really great advice at a time when I was counting every penny and collecting too many free opinions. Now, 4 years later, I still invest wisely, both in myself and who gets to have input on the next stop in my journey. Number 4, you get to ask people for directions. No matter where you're going, people have gone before you, or they're heading in your direction, even if just for a little while. That's true when things are rough as well. If you look closely, there's always someone who will sit by you for a bit while you rest. Finally, send the elevator back down. When you do get through a couple detours, or even while you're in one, be a resource to others. Not only is it good karma, you never know where the small seeds planted in that moment may bloom much later. Okay, that's it for today's story time. I hope if you have detours in the days ahead, that you see them for opportunities. As for me, I have much more confidence in my journey 4 years in because of those challenges and changes. I'll find a way forward. And I know that you will too. If you ever do get stuck, look for the elevator because someone is sending one your way. Thanks for listening. You can find a lot more like this by following me on LinkedIn or going to unlockthebrain.com and joining the mailing list. And if you found value in this podcast, please take a moment to rate or comment. Thanks so much. And now let's go do fewer things better.